welcome to this explainer. Today, we're zeroing in on a hidden utility system in your home that is an absolute powerhouse. We're talking about a machine that can literally pump thousands of gallons of water an hour, your sump pump. And look, maintaining it isn't just about ticking another box on your weekend chore list. It is quite literally the difference between coming downstairs to a dry, safe home or walking into a devastatingly expensive disaster. So let's get into it. Here is a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with the silent basement guardian. Move into your monthly testing routine, then cover clearing the pit quarterly, biannual deep maintenance, and finally wrap up with when to service things a bit more often. Okay, section 1, the silent basement guardian. Think about your HVAC system, or your fridge, even your plumbing. You interact with those literally every single day. But your sump pump? It operates totally out of sight, usually tucked away in some dark, forgotten corner of the basement. And as the source material points out, sump pumps are one of the very few home systems that might sit entirely idle for weeks or even months, and then suddenly need to perform flawlessly. It's kind of like expecting a car to start instantly and just cruise at 100 miles an hour after sitting untouched in a garage for half a year. But that's exactly what we ask of these pumps when a sudden heavy rainstorm hits. If we wait until the water is actively rising, well, it's already too late. Moving right along to section 2, your monthly testing routine. So the absolute best way to make sure you get that flawless performance is to break the maintenance down into really micro, totally manageable tasks. And that starts with a quick monthly routine. Step 1, you just test the switch in operation to make sure the unit actually powers on. Simple enough. Step 2, confirm the float moves freely. Now this float switch works exactly like that little bobber in your toilet tank. As the water level rises, it floats up and triggers the pump. If that float gets jammed against the side, the pump won't even realize there's water. And then step 3, just verify your high water alarm is actually working. That alarm is quite literally your last line of defense before water starts ruining your floor. Now, while you're running through those quick physical steps, you'll want to keep a mental checklist of early warning signs. Listen for unusual noises. If you hear grinding or this weird humming sound without any water actually pumping, that definitely means trouble. Watch out for frequent short cycling too. That's when the pump rapidly kicks on and off in these really quick, jerky bursts. Keep an eye out for visible debris gathering around the pit, and of course, make sure the water is actually clearing out of the basin, not just churning around or backing up. Catching these little red flags early on is absolutely key. Which brings us to section 3, clearing the pit quarterly. Let's zoom out just a little bit from those monthly check-ins and look at what needs your attention every 3 to 4 months. Because over time, your sump pit essentially acts as a giant trap. Things like leaves, silt, and sediment naturally wash in and just collect right at the bottom. Think about a heavy storm, right? Water is rushing toward your foundation, and it's carrying all this debris straight into your sump pit. And if you have poor drainage or maybe some intense landscaping near the house, this happens even faster. This debris essentially acts like plaque in an artery, just slowly, quietly choking the whole system. To stop that from happening, you actually need to reach in and physically remove that accumulated sediment from the pit. Once that's clear, go ahead and trace the discharge line. That's the pipe carrying all that water out of your house. And check the exact spot where it empties outside, just to make sure there aren't any blockages. You want to keep the entire pit area completely clean so that float switch we talked about can operate without any interference. But a quick warning here. While you're scooping out all that muck, you have to be incredibly careful not to yank on any wires or mess with the electrical components. The goal is to clean the system, not break it. Next up, section 4, biannual deep maintenance. Stepping back into the macro, yearly view now. While your monthly and quarterly tasks are great for keeping things humming along, you really need a deeper dive about 1 to 2 times a year. And honestly, timing is everything here. You'll want to tackle this deep maintenance ideally in the spring and the fall. By doing it then, you're strategically getting way ahead of your region's wettest seasons. You definitely want to ensure everything is in peak fighting condition before the heavy melting snows of spring or those torrential autumn rains show up. During this biannual deep dive, there are 4 absolutely crucial inspections you need to run through. First, inspect the check valve. That's the one-way valve that actually stops water from just flowing right back down into the pit once the pump turns off. Next, double-check that the entire discharge line is totally clear of any obstructions. Then, take a good hard look at the power cord and all the connections to spot any signs of wear, fraying, or nasty corrosion. And critically, seriously, do not skip this, test your battery backup. A sump pump does you absolutely no good during a severe thunderstorm if the power gets knocked out and your backup battery happens to be dead. And always make sure to follow the specific manufacturer instructions when testing those components. All right, Section 5. When to service more often. So, everything we've talked about so far basically assumes that your home and your pump are operating under, normal average conditions. But there is a very stark difference when a system is practically screaming for help. A normal pump will activate occasionally, clear the water out effectively, and then just go right back to sleep. An overworked pump, on the other hand, it runs repeatedly, sometimes even after just moderate rain, and it suffers from these frequent, frantic start-stop cycles. If your pump is behaving like that overworked example, well, that standard schedule we just went over, it no longer applies to you. But what actually causes a pump to get overworked like that in the first place? Generally, it boils down to a few specific mechanical or environmental failure points. It could be a restricted discharge line. If the water can't get out easily, the pump naturally has to work twice as hard. Or it could be a failing check valve. If water just keeps flowing back down the pipe and into the pit, the pump is stuck clearing the exact same water over and over again. Or it could simply be increased water inflow. Things like poor soil grading or external drainage issues outside your house might be funneling way too much water straight towards your foundation. If you start noticing any of these symptoms, you need to make it an immediate priority. Proactively step up your inspection frequency and clean that pit out a lot more often. And if the problems are still hanging around after you've checked for basic blockages, please do not wait to call in a professional plumbing technician. Having the system evaluated early on is the kind of realization that could literally save you thousands of dollars in water damage restoration down the road. So let's synthesize all of this into one easy, actionable rhythm for you. Every month, test the operation and keep your eyes peeled for those warning signs. Every 3 to 4 months, inspect the pit and physically clear out any gunk or debris. And every 1 to 2 years, conduct your deep maintenance and heavily test those battery backups. When you look at it laid out like this, it really isn't some overwhelming, impossible chore. It's just a highly manageable, straightforward routine that is going to give you total peace of mind. Which leaves us with one final and honestly incredibly important question to ponder. Based on everything we've explored today, is your basement's silent guardian truly ready for the next storm? Seriously, don't wait until the power flickers out and the rain is coming down in sheets to find out. Take a few minutes and take action this weekend. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll catch you next time.